Welcome back to the next layer in Fantasy Gear Creation. In this lesson, we'll take our completed weapon and bring it to life, giving it form and curvature. Okay, so as you can see, I've turned on the background layer in the project, and what I am going to do now is I'm going to grab this sword layer and I'm going to drag it up into the folder called Details so that it's by itself. These layers are all off on the Silhouettes layer, but I'm going to go ahead and turn the folder off and spin it up as well. The next step is I'm going to grab my brush and I'm going to come down and make a brand new layer, and I'm going to call it Details. This is the layer that we're going to do all of our line work on, so we need to make sure that we have it properly labeled. The next thing we need to do is to make this layer into a clipping mask, because as it stands right now, if I grab my brush and came in, we would do something like that. So we need to make it into a clipping mask so that it only affects the layer below. So you need to right click on the layer and go into Create Clipping Mask. You'll know that you've done it correctly by the little arrow that pops up next to the layer. Now when we go in with our brush, only the pixels on the layer below will show up. Alright, what I need you guys to do now is to go up to the top and I need you to grab your hard round brush, the 25. And I'm going to be zooming in, as I hope you will too. I will forewarn you that this step is going to probably be the most time intensive of this project, because this is all the detail work. This is all the flourishes, this is all the little details, the little marks that you're going to put into your weapon to make it shine when we do texture and color. So this is the part of the project that I expect will take you the longest and that I want you to do the best job you can. Not a rush job, but really take your time, do good work. Okay, having said that, I'm going to come over to my brush layer. I'm going to make sure that transfer it's okay to be on for this step. What I am going to do is I'm going to take my size and I'm going to reduce it to a 3. And a tool that we have not used much in class and we haven't even introduced is one that you'll probably want to be familiar with this step. It is underneath the hand, it's the Rotate View tool, keyboard shortcut R. And some of you may have stumbled on this by accident using your tablets, but as you can see, I can rotate the view around of the artboard. This will help you immensely because if you just have it straight up and down in one particular position, it can be very hard to get perfect curvature and lines. So I'm going to kind of curve it, and I'm going to start working again with a 3 brush, 100% flow, and I may want to change my opacity to 98%. That may seem like an odd number, but it's going to help not go all the way through and be all the way white. So 98%. So what I'm going to do is grab my pen and I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to start adding form to the sword. I'm going to make this area of the blade come down and then go back up to the other side. It's okay to experiment to kind of get the look that you want. Erasing is going to be a-okay on this layer. You want to make sure that any little detail that you want comes out. I'm going to kind of go around the outline of this part of my sword. You're going to want to do this for any part of your weapon that is touching the gray. So really, one thing that you need to do is you need to go around an outline. Think about sun position, have these things in mind as we do this step. It doesn't have to be a bright outline, but it needs to be able to show the form. It needs to be able to show what you have done on your sword or on your flail or on your weapon. We need to be able to see the form before we go to the next few steps. Again, make sure you pick up your pen periodically so that if you have to Command Z backwards, that you don't lose a lot of your work, and then you're not trying to do it all in one broad brush stroke. Okay, I'm going to go down to this little curve upcoming, and then I'm going to go up to the actual blade and show you another example of line work. Okay. So as you can see, it's really starting to take form on that side. You're starting to see the outline of it. It might be good to do the outline first and then come in and do what I'm about to do, which is I'm going to add detail to this part of the blade. I'm probably going to behoove you to keep your pen on, or your brush on, a 3 for most of this activity. You don't want it to be too big, you don't want it to be too broad. And remember, because we have a clipping mask enabled, it doesn't matter if you get out here onto the white and or onto the gray background and kind of go into it, because it's not going to show up. Okay, you kind of see what I mean by don't have your brush strokes go too far, because you kind of mess up like that. And you want to make sure that everything looks nice and neat. Alright, what I was talking about earlier with the detail is what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of make this line, and I forgot my own shortcut. Hold Shift down. You could do a line that goes straight down. Say I want this blade part to go. I lost. Might want to zoom out for that. Say I want this part of the blade to go straight down. Once I get it centered, straight down to there. Slightly off center. That'd be something I need to fix, but that's the kind of detail that I'm talking about. You're wanting to go in, you're wanting to do the flourishes. Let's say I kind of like that being off center, so I can come up here and let's say I want to make this blade do something like this. And let's say I even wanted to make it a blade that had another notch going down. Another notch going down. And you kind of get the idea what I mean. I want you to put in these little details. The thing I do not want you to do, and this is going to save you later, is a lot of you kind of have the tendencies when you're doing detail work, like if you wanted to draw something in here, don't render it. And what I mean by render it is don't do this. Don't come in and sketch it like this with your white. Okay? We will be adding texture in an upcoming step, so this is not something that you need to be doing. I don't want to see anything like that on your weapon. It needs to be clean. It needs to be crisp. Now, if I wanted to come in here and let's say I wanted to make this like a face, and I wanted to draw an eyeball right here, I could come in and do that if I made both of these marks completely white like that. This is fine. A solid white detail like that, or if I wanted to come up and do something like this and have it connect here. That's part of the design, and then come in and maybe give it a flourish like this, which is not symmetrical and bothering me, but you get the idea. This would be absolutely fine. This is solid white. This would not be something that hinders the look. this would be okay. As wide as you can make it. Not, sketching it like this. So, as I said before, this will probably be the most intense step that you have, the most time-intensive step that you have. You need to take your brush, you need to outline the figure, and then you need to come in and you need to add these little flourishes around your blade so that we can come in and add texture later. You need to make sure that you fill these areas with some kind of a line, some kind of a design, and these don't need to be blank, okay? I don't want you to say, well, this is just my interpretive, sword. You need to actually fill this. Give it some kind of form. I might come in and draw little scales, little feathers. This was supposed to be kind of like a phoenix sword. The details are up to you. I look forward to seeing what you guys do, and once you get the outlines done, I will see you back in the next lesson.